In a rematch of the NFC playoffs last year, the Rams take on the Lions to open up both of their seasons. Let's talk about it and give a prediction. For starters, the Rams, they have said F those picks during their 2 Super Bowl runs, but they know how to draft players. Last year, they drafted Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Byron Young, and then in 2017, they drafted Cooper Kupp, John Johnson III, Rob Havenstein. Those are really good hits, and they know how to draft when they've got those picks, and this last offseason, they did. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk were their first 2 picks off the board, and I expect them to have immediate impact on this defense. Both of these guys are going to be starters, but the Rams quietly had one of the best offenses in the NFL last season. With Matthew Stafford, their passing is off the charts. When he's healthy, top 10 quarterback in the league. I don't really want to hear any arguments against that. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, of course, are a big part of this passing offense. When they were both healthy in the last 8 games, the Rams were 6-2, and their offense looked off the charts, insanely good. They have a top 3 wide receiver duo, like I said, in Kupp and Puka Nacua. But the big factor with this Rams team is going to be the loss of Aaron Donald. He retires this offseason, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time All-Pro player. Words cannot describe what the Rams are going to be missing with him not being on the field this year. Maybe they can convince him to come back, because if they could, maybe the Rams are a Super Bowl contender. But overall, they're going to feel the loss of him throughout the season, and especially in this first game. The X factor for this Rams team in this game is going to be Byron Young, who had 8 sacks and 61 tackles last season, 2 forced fumbles, a bunch of tackles for loss. This guy is going to be screaming off the edge, and I'm a firm believer if the Rams are going to win games, it's going to be because Byron Young and this Rams defense put their offense in good field position. So that's the X factor for the Rams. Let's talk about the NFC runner-up last season, the Detroit Lions. Big offseason move. Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson decides to stick around. I was told and had a bunch of rumors around that he was going to take a head coaching job, but he decided to stick it out and commit to this Lions team to win a Super Bowl. And I think that's the biggest news that the Lions could have over the offseason. Another addition here, all of their weapons are healthy. They've got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's about 98 to 100% according to a report. David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams. This offense was amazing last season with Jared Goff, who had an MVP type season last year, 4,500 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, just 12 interceptions, and he got his team all the way to the NFC Championship game. They are one season better than they were last year. Home field advantage is a huge factor to me in this game. The Lions were 8-2 at home last year, and they beat the Rams at home in the playoffs last season, which I think is one of the most important factors to consider when gauging this game. Let's talk about the big problem for this Lions team, though, the secondary. It has been a plague on the Lions for years and years and years. They had the 6th most passing yards allowed in the NFL last year, and they only had the 23rd most sacks in the league. So, 1, you're not getting to the quarterback, and 2, since he has more time, receivers are getting more open, but they hopefully address this problem a little in the offseason. They drafted Terrion Arnold, a corner from Alabama. I think he is a capable starter year 1 in this league, but that's a wait-and-see type of thing. I think that the Lions, if they lose, it's going to be because the opposing quarterback had a field day on this secondary. All that being said, the X factor for this team is going to be that Lions offensive line, who I think is the best offensive line in football. You've got Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, and Kevin Zeitler. Phenomenal. I mean, there's not a hole in this offensive line. They're going to dominate the running game, which head coach Dan Campbell loves to do. Physical, bite the kneecap off football. I think that the Lions are going to dominate the ground this year, especially considering they have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery in the backfield. So be sure to look out for that. Lots of time of possession, lots of running yards for this Lions team. That's the X factor in my opinion. Let's talk about the prediction. With the Rams, I think the number one thing I'm looking at here is the loss of Aaron Donald, and not a lot to recover here. Now, Braden Fisk does come in, but he's not Aaron Donald. I'll be honest, no disrespect to him, obviously, but to say that this rookie is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year caliber player is just, that's nuts. So I'm going to give the Lions the edge here. I think they win 30-24. I think Matthew Stafford can pick apart that Lions secondary, but the time of possession and the time spent with the Lions running the football, that's going to be the deciding factor. Lions win this game 30-24. That's my pick. I think that they can cover the spread, but I will not guarantee that as a lock. So 30-24, that's my prediction. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.